Alright guys, Btry here, bringing you a charity of the week this week, and the charity I have decided to pick was one that is more of a theme, and I've got charities obviously for each continent and country because I can see why people wouldn't want to donate to certain countries and stuff. But anyway, that is irrelevant right now. So I've decided to pick autism, and a few reasons why I picked autism. First of all, it's quite I wouldn't say it's an unknown illness or problem, but it's something that does get quite overlooked, and people think it's more important things in the world to look at or to care about. And you know, I can see your point, but at the same time, it's a very not very nice mental illness to have, or learning difficulty. I'd say, not mental illness. There was one boy in my year actually who did suffer from autism, and he did have a rough time, and I must admit, wasn't particularly liked, and people couldn't cope with the way he socially interacted and understood the way the world worked, essentially. And all that, it can get annoying, but at the same time, I felt very sorry for the boy. I had not pity, because pity is not a very nice thing to have for someone, but I felt sorry for him. One of the people in the school said, he couldn't even cross a road. He just could not comprehend how to cross a road, and had to have people with him the whole time. He has successfully gone on to university, and I don't know how he's doing at university. I didn't really talk to him that much. But, first of all, that proves that you can, even with something like this, you can go along and live a normal, relatively normal life. Another thing I've also done, actually, is looked at famous people, or people who have been very successful with autism. And, unfortunately, no one I know, but there are a lot of writers, artists, people like that. A lot of people who do suffer from autism, first of all, there's a very wide spectrum, from just having problems with communication to having a sort of OCD where everything has to be in a certain way, to full on really can't comprehend how people show emotions, how you understand emotions, to just not even being able to put on your own shirt. A very famous person who, quite ironic, like a very famous movie called Rain Man, was about an autistic person. Turns out, as I've been doing research for this, he wasn't actually autistic. He had a different genetic problem, but the principle's the same. This person was so smart, he just could remember everything, could be able to do these amazing things that people probably can't do in real life, or not in real life, or just a normal person wouldn't be able to do because of other things in their brain. But they're wired that they could just do all this amazing stuff. And yet he couldn't even button up his own shirt, and it's very sad to see that people can't socially interact in a normal way. So I've picked these charities that help people have carers, educate people, and just all in all give people a better life. Something I've always thought about, or have been thinking about when I think of someone who has a disability like this, is what happens once you get out of the education system. What happens when your parents die or something like that? There's this void that you are now all on your own. You have no one to care for you. You might not have been able to have a partner or anything like that because of social problems. And luckily, England or Great Britain has sort of a way to keep up with this. They do have carers and they have homes to people like this, although it's not a very nice way to talk about it, but that is the case. But over in America, I'm not 100% sure if it's the same over there. I know their healthcare system is completely different, and their social structure is different. So there's this sort of care, but it's limited and it's not always the best. So giving to these charities can actually help people like that have a better life after maybe their people who have loved them, their loved ones have left them, or their carers have left them. And I just think that's more of the important thing, because I could not imagine being on my own, not understanding how people work and how you can live your life. And I don't know, like, just how could you live a life where no one's caring for you, and you've just, you're on your own, you don't understand the world. It could be the most scariest thing in the world, and that's something I'd really like, to help people out with, because it can help people. I think also a very important part of autism is an education to it. As I said previously, my school just wasn't very good at handling it. It became a massive problem, his lack of social understanding of where he approached certain things, and my school was not that good at it. My school, unfortunately, is due to being in the middle of Great Britain and in a very sort of closed town. Stuff like this just cannot comprehend my school's mind, and although they try and be like, yes, we're just all about equality and stuff like that. They just can't handle it. They didn't have the facilities for it. They didn't have the people who understood it well enough. It was just unfortunately very poorly handled, and some, you know, obviously they were limited in resource and stuff to do this, but charities can help that. Charities can help schools get better at it, educating people, educating us. We basically had my form, he was in my form, and we had like an hour discussion on, you know, the difficulties that could occur. But unfortunately they didn't explain it very well. You sort of just felt like, yeah, he'll just be a very timid person, but it wasn't like that at all. They didn't really get a good understanding of it, and I can understand the way they were going at it. They wanted to be very PG about it, or PC about it, and not, you know, scare people. But they should have, you know, lay out the facts as they are, and bluntly how they are. So, yes, these charities can help people. They can help out the families also, who are looking after someone who need help, care, or, you know, time away from this very stressed environment it can be. So yeah, all in all, these charities can really help out. So I'd appreciate if you gave these a look. If you wanted to donate, please donate. I've put a link to a other website that has a list of all charities around the world. So if you aren't from Great Britain or the United States, which are the two charities I've got, you can have a scroll around and find a charity specific to your country, which you know, you can help people out in your own lands if you fancy it. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. As I've said previously, please check out the charities, donate if you want to donate, or even just a bit of awareness is fine. If you've come back from this thinking, you know, people with autism, it's very problematic disorder to have, and you know, people should, you know, think about the way they treat other people who do have this disorder. If you do eventually meet people, some of the facts I did see was very high. It was like 1 in 8. It probably wasn't 1 in 8, but it was like 6 billion in fact Americans had autism or something like that. And considering it's a very wide spectrum, that means you know, it can be from just something really small to something massive. So yeah, next time if you do know anyone autistic, you know, give them a second chance. Don't be a dick, man. Just don't be a dick. Like unfortunately my school was. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please do check out the charity as I said previously, and if you enjoyed this, like, share it with people, maybe. I don't even know. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. I got some